you can talk about Elon Musk, how he's building an alternative system. So you have the social media communication platform X, you have the banking solution, which will now be integrated on X, you have the satellites, you have Neuralink, you have Tesla. The guy has all the data to basically build an alternative system, which is what he's doing. An alternative system to what? To the government system. So you have power charging, which is controlled by Elon. You have the communication, which is controlled by Elon. You have the internet, Starlink, which is controlled by Elon. You have the spaceships. You have Neuralink, which is going to be the implant. You have, I think it's Gronk, which is the AI. So all these things together collectively put you into a supervillain situation or a Lex Luthor type character for an alternative system. So we'll be seeing a fusion or a complete anarchic separatist kind of perspective between government and private industry. Now they collude a lot, right? Now they collude a lot, which is what we call technofeudalism. You know, when basically Elon Musk is, or Mark Zuckerberg, or any of these social media guys, they operate as like hidden kings and hidden like monarchs because they control the social platforms. So it's what we call technocratic state. And what we call techno-feudalism. Feudalism, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it was, so feudalism back in the day was when a king would own a lot of land and the peasants would come and they would work on the land for free in exchange for food. But the feudal lords own the property. So they own the place of commerce. Therefore, even though they weren't the government, they were still in control. Today, we have the same thing taking place, but it's technologically like you could literally censor somebody to death, right? Until we had these alternative systems come into be. So we see the collusion of government and we see the collusion of corporations take place. I don't know, is it, as if technology advances, if we kind of go more towards just relying on companies instead of just relying on government, or if these things marry into one super monster that with AI kind of fucks us all up. We'll see, but the best we can do is level up and
prepare yourself. What do you think of AI? I interviewed a man called Mo Godat. He worked with Google. He says AI is going to be 1 billion times smarter than any human on the planet within the next 5 to 10 years.
I agree. I don't think we understand what is happening. I don't understand. You can process one thought, maybe 2 thoughts at once. Dude, this thing is running and processing everything at the same time. You're going to see the emergence of people that worship these AIs. You're going to see people marry the AIs. You're going to see people fuse with the AIs. It's going to be pretty crazy. So you're going to see the battle of the chipped versus the unchipped take place, which is going to be taking place. I mean, if Neuralink actually works, and you actually have the ability to instill learning behavior patterns and you can accelerate learning, you can basically turn somebody into a supercomputer, they'll outcompete anybody in the marketplace. So you might be forced into it, right? Because if not, you're going to be jobless. So what are you going to do? It's a crazy situation that we're in. I don't see that kind of in our necessary future, but it might be for our kids or the generations to come. But once again, technology is advancing so quick, we don't really comprehend it. It's fast. It's fast.
They're trying to microchip the brain now as well. So this is what they say. They get out first, get the mobile phones. People queue for 2 nights, 3 nights to get the new iPhone. So as soon as they bring the new chip out, microchip, people are getting chipped in Sweden. So people are getting microchipped now. Now you've got metaverse. People are getting into there's different levels of this universe. I believe in my own perspective, because I've interviewed enough people to try and get an understanding of it. And basically, when you break it all down, nobody actually knows what the fuck is going on. We're just speaking from the knowledge that we gather through books, documentaries, other people we come across. But when you actually break it all down, what is the true source? What do you think the true source is for a human being?
Intuition. I think your ability to perceive how the things around you are working. You're not going to know everything, right? And also, you're not necessarily going to place your belief system into what somebody else has told you. You have to experience it for yourself. So it has to do with experience. It has to do with going through the process of learning truth. Because people are like, oh, like, what do you believe in? Well, if you believe in something, it means that you have no certainty of it. But you need to know things. There's a verse in the Bible that says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Not you shall believe in some white man with a beard in heaven that will, no, it says you shall know the truth. So the question is, how do you know the truth? Well, you need to be paying attention. You need to be aware. You need to be observant. You need to have open ears, and you need to have humility. People act like, and they walk around like they know shit, like that they have the answers. Well, if you have the answers, then truth will never reveal itself to you. So very much walking with humility and like a student. I think that that's the biggest learning place. The biggest learning place to seek for truth is when you position yourself and being like, hey, I don't know anything. Let the universe reveal itself to me. And it does. And these mysteries, some people like to give it names and characteristics and attributes, but once again, we all experience it differently.
What do you think humans are? What do you think we are?
I think we're experiencing this like three-dimensional realm, but our consciousness will potentially be more expanded outside of our physical limitations once we die.
What about the creator? Do you think someone created us?
Absolutely. 100%. Intelligent design makes absolute sense.
Could we be machines? Could we be avatars? Could we already be robotic?
I mean, robotic.
Because you look at the way the central nervous system is, how the brain functions, how the organs function. Something's created that. And if you go back thousands of years of with some of the tombs and pyramids, some people say they were created by lasers. And
there's definitely design. There's definitely design attributed to it. And it's interesting you say that because, for example, when we talk about like civilizations that have been wiped out, this is obvious. Civilizations have been wiped out. I just spent a month in Italy looking at the ruins of Pompeii. They say 80% of Pompeii is still under the ashes. So like all these things about history that we have no idea about, no context whatsoever. People are like, oh yeah, well, why is it that we don't have remnants of plastic from back in the day? I was like, well, maybe they were just so intelligent and so intellectually superior that they realized that plastic wasn't something that they should utilize. Like plastic is something that's fucking us up. So I think that right now we are in a phase of rediscovering humanity. I think we're potentially in the dark ages still of knowledge of how we operate and what our fullest capabilities and human potential is. If you were born, let's say you were in your people, right? Were born into slavery for another nation. And you were, and it's a 600 or 700 year slavery period. Let's say you're born in year 300 of slavery. You're born into that. You have no context of freedom. You don't understand it. It's not been taught to you. You haven't been nurtured under it. It's not in your peripherals. You don't understand it. You may crave it, but you don't understand it because you were born a slave. We were born slaves. Look at the school system. Look at the music. Look at the food. Look at the propaganda. Look at the television. They're all tools of slavery, mass slavery. So when you look at all these things and you align it, you're like, whoa, hold a minute. Are they telling me that I'm free, but I'm not? Right? Are they telling me that I have free will, that I can act and choose what I want, but I'm persuaded by all these things around me that create a false identity? We were talking about everything's an illusion. You're sold that this is valuable. You're sold that this is valuable. You're sold that things are real, right? These are beliefs. So what if we've been born into this belief system that we're free, but you look at the byproduct of our existence and we're at 10% capacity of our potential, which means what? Which means it's not that the energy isn't being expended, it's that the energy is going into somebody else's pocket, because we look at money different than rich people look at money. Rich people don't look at money like monetary units. Rich people look at money like energy, because you take that money and you pay somebody for what? Their time and their labor. That labor is energy. Everything is quantified in energy units. So rich people understand that. So they'll give you fake imaginary paper in exchange for what? Your lifespan. That's the game. So if you print the money, you get infinite lifespan that you can play with. That's why you can fund infinite wars. That's why you can fund infinite construction. That's why you can fund infinite slavery, because you can pay people. That's why we're basically debt slaves. So the entire premise of where we currently stand in society is that we need to wake up as a collective consciousness that you aren't what people have told you that you are. You don't need to work a 9 to 5 in order to be validated. You don't need to work for a big company. Yes, making a ton of money is great, but dude, you can make $5,000 a month and live with total freedom. I was happy when I was making $10,000 a month, dude. I had less responsibilities, less problems than I fucking do now. but I've been limited and you can't make $10,000 a month. No, well, you need a college degree. Oh, well, you need to do this. These are all limitations, slave belief systems that have been cast upon us on how we're supposed to operate. And once you break free from that illusion, you begin to realize that you can live life on your own terms.
But it's trying to break free. And like I say, happiness is a mindset. And no
Yes.
matter if it's 10,000 a month, $10 a month, because people can be happy with anything.
Yes.
And you see the kids in Africa or whatever, and they've not got much, and they get a new ball,
Yes.
and they're the happiest kids in the world. Kids here, Western society, they've got everything, but yet they complain the most.